All right. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Joy. I am back again with another live. I hope that you guys are doing well and I hope you guys are staying safe. So I hope that you guys can hear me and see me good. There is a dog barking in the background, so hopefully he stops. And like I said, hopefully this internet connection stays good. And I just wanted to say to make sure that if you are tuned in to this channel, make sure that you do watch the video the whole way through so that way you don't miss anything. But if you are new, welcome. If you are returning, hey, my name is Joy and I am a narcissist abuse coach. So I was actually thinking about this topic today, you guys, and please feel free to chime in. And also, you guys, if there are other topics that you want me to do where we go live just like this, kind of like do a Q&A, please let me know and we can definitely answer any questions or any comments or any feedback that you may have. So one second, you guys. So today, you guys, I do want to just touch on actually like one and a half topics or maybe even two topics. So the first topic I wanted to talk about, it's in regards to this dog is really barking in the background. It just wants attention. We're going to talk about why most parents don't talk about narcissism in the household, or we can also say, should parents or people talk about narcissism in the household? I really think that this is a great topic. And I feel that, as I said, I'm not a parent yet, but I know that when I do become a parent, I know that I will be teaching my children and my kids, I will be teaching them about narcissism. I will also be teaching them about other topics that's going on and other concerns and other issues that's going on in the world. But of course, I'll be doing it, maybe once they ask the question, or maybe if it comes up or they have an experience and they may say, hey, mommy, what does this mean? Or they may, with their dad, they may say, hey, daddy, what does that mean? Blah, blah, blah. You get me? So, you just kind of want to keep that in mind. But again, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying that everybody should do what it is that I say. As I said, I'm not telling anybody what to do. This is just from my perspective. You get me? This dog. Oh my God. But yeah, I feel that if I was to have, a parent come to me and they say, hey, Joy, maybe they have dealt with narcissism, or maybe they just have children, maybe at a certain age where they're, maybe going to middle school or high school, or maybe even college, or maybe they're at work, they could have an environment, where they're around a lot of people, whether it's at work, it's at church, or just anywhere. And they may want to say, hey, should I bring this topic up in the household? Like, should I teach my children about this, or should I teach my young adults about this? My answer would be absolutely yes, because the more that you can teach your children, whether they're adolescents, preteens, older adults, anything, the more that that person knows, the better. The more you can prepare them for, future interactions with individuals. That way they can learn how to control themselves mentally, emotionally, and psychologically. They can have responses, words and phrases that they can say, so that way they can combat, individuals who have narcissism, or individuals who have narcissistic tendencies, or maybe even individuals who could just be toxic, that could be dysfunctional, or that could be unhealthy. You get what I'm saying? And so I would say absolutely, for sure, is something that should be discussed in households. Now, you may say, well, I was never taught narcissism in the household. And maybe you could be like, I wish I would have been taught that. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I wish I was taught about narcissism in my household, because that's something that I was not taught. There was many other things that I was not taught how to do. But, narcissism was definitely a topic that I was not taught. Sometimes we have to learn things with life experience, which is something that I had to do, unfortunately, but it is a good thing because now I can share it with everybody. But yeah, narcissism was not taught in the household. You know, I guess what was taught in the household was, I went to church a lot when I was growing up. Also I wasn't allowed to like watch certain stuff on TV. Like I wasn't allowed to listen to certain music, and you know, we had to go to church all the time, and we had to go to bed early, we had to clean up in the house, you guys know how it is. And we had to dress properly, grooming had to be intact and stuff like that. But nothing about relationships. Now, as far as I guess like sex and stuff wasn't really taught. I know like my dad had brought it up a couple times, and even in high school, they had the sex education where, I think some of the classes they give you condoms and stuff like that. But I was taught, the sex education and stuff like that. And you guys could chime in, whoever comes in the room. Make sure you guys give the video a like if you come in. Um, but yeah, and so the thing is why it's not taught. So the topic of that, narcissism is not taught. I feel like, because people are just unaware. People are just unaware. Some people just don't know. Some people may be afraid to talk about it, as I mentioned in the previous video, because maybe one parent feel like, oh, I'm exposing myself, or maybe they could feel like they're exposing another parent, or they're exposing another person in the family, or or somebody that is a friend of the family or something like that. And that sort of deal. Why else is narcissism not taught in the household? Is again, it's just a lack of knowledge, lack of education, lack of understanding. But the beautiful thing is people are gaining awareness about it. People are gaining the tools and the resources that's going to be able to help educate themselves and bring more insightful knowledge and awareness, and also the ability to understand what it's all about and how it not only affects you, even if you don't have narcissism, even if you don't have NPD or BPD, but just you being around a narcissistic person, or being around a person that it has narcissism as their personality, how that can still affect you, whether it's short term or long term. And a lot of times, some people could feel like, oh, me being in this relationship, oh, it's just going to have short term effects. But actually, it can affect you in a long term, because again, and I do actually talk about this in my book. So make sure that you do get my new book that just came out, but we'll talk about that later on in the video. But in the basically in the video or the book, it just mentions how a lot of people can get affected with narcissism um for the long term. You get what I'm saying? So like the damage that it does to a person mentally, emotionally, psychologically, how that abuse can affect that individual, if that makes sense. So you really just kind of want to be mindful of that and keep that in mind. But I think too, a lot of times, parents don't talk about narcissism because um yeah, they could just be afraid. They could be afraid. Maybe they don't want to open up and share and maybe tell their children about what happened with them. Maybe they could feel like maybe the child is going to look at them a certain way, or feel a certain way, or look down on them, or anything like that. But again, I'm not telling people what to do, but if you have experienced narcissism, please feel free, you guys, to share it with your children, share it with, whether it's church members or coworkers. And we're going to get on to another topic in that regards, especially dealing with, bosses and coworkers that could be narcissistic. But absolutely, like I said, I know, like when I have kids, I'm definitely going to be teaching them about narcissism, narcissistic abuse, things to look out for, and making sure that they're not behaving in that way. Because you also have to be sure that, yeah, you can explain all of these traits and attributes to your family, your children, but you also just want to make sure that they don't behave in that way. You want to make sure you teach them about having empathy, being able to take accountability for their actions, really just being an overall good-hearted nature person, but also not being the type of individual that becomes a people pleaser, a pushover, a doormat type of individual. You get what I'm saying? So you just want to make sure that they can have that balance, and make sure that they can really maneuver around that topic and that sort of thing. But yeah, I feel that that topic should be talked about in households. Um, and that sort of thing. And also, I just feel like some people, why, I guess another reason why some people avoid talking about it, because sometimes people feel like, oh, they don't want to hear the truth, or, the truth hurts. Like sometimes people feel like, oh, well, if they don't ask, don't tell type of attitude, or they're just like, oh, I don't really want to put all of that on my child or my children or my preteen, my young adult, or maybe even my older adult. Some people feel like they don't want to overwhelm them with that. But sometimes it like I said, it's good to, again, for the like I said, the awareness, and for the understanding, the acknowledgement of it and the empowering aspect of it too, because if you're teaching your children about narcissistic abuse at a young age, or even if they're like maybe in middle school, high school, going into college, it's like, think about some things that they can avoid. Like, they could be avoiding future heartbreaks, they could be avoiding future disappointments, they could be avoiding future betrayals. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, like, take me for instance, like, I wasn't taught about narcissism, so I was more vulnerable to being attracted to individuals that had narcissistic tendencies, and also the fact that I was kind of between ages of 17 and 22 or 21, I was living in a narcissistic household. You get what I'm saying? And so that became normal for me. It's like, in a sense, I would normalize narcissistic behavior, which it's not normal. We all understand that, you know what I'm saying? And so, but whether you're the parent or you have a parent, let's say you're the parent, you educating your children, that is beautiful. Now you don't want to bore them to death. Like, maybe you might want to make them watch a video or something, or, read a book, or, just have a discussion, so that way they can comprehend, and that way they can really understand like how this is going to affect them, like I said, mentally, emotionally, and psychologically. You get what I'm saying? And how them having this information, it could help them to be, just we always say, just sharp, and just kind of just being informed, right? Being informed, having that insightful information, so that way they can avoid these type of individuals. You see what I'm saying? So I hope that made sense. I didn't want to drag it on for too long, but yes, absolutely. Should parents have discussions and topics in regards to narcissism and narcissistic abuse? Absolutely. And even if your child, or your older adults, or even younger adult children, if they ask you, tell them the truth. Like, don't lie to them. Be upfront. And I don't know if you guys remember, I did make a video where I was talking about how sometimes children can be narcissists. And again, that could come from the parent aspect. Like I said, I'm not blaming parents, not at all, because I know I'm going to be a parent one day. But it's just really taking responsibility for yourself, your actions, your behaviors, your choices, and also understanding how that's not only going to affect you, but that's going to affect everyone in the household. You see what I'm saying? And that sort of thing. So anyway, you guys, I hope that made sense. So I actually wanted to go on to another topic. I wanted to talk a little bit, and we'll do another video on this. And I guess this would also be another point where, back to what we were saying, like why most people or parents don't talk about narcissism in a household. It could also be, as far as, let's say, your spouse, or not, or your ex-spouse, or maybe like your ex, like your child's father or child's mother. Let's say they're a narcissist, and you are trying to co-parent with them, and you're also trying to tell your children or explain to them like what's going on, what's happening. Again, whether you have them watch videos or read a book, or just have certain discussions, maybe they have questions. Definitely be truthful. And as I always say, like I said, I'm not telling anybody what to do, but don't talk down on that on your partner per se, or your ex-partner, but you just want to educate them and let them know, like, hey, this is what your mommy or daddy could be behaving. You're not going to say like, hey, I know for a fact. I mean, you could know for a fact, but just, you don't want to make it seem like you're talking down on that spouse, because then the child is going to know. The children are smart. Like, they're not stupid. Like, they're going to realize, okay, which parent is causing the most problems, which parent is not behaving in the correct way. You see what I'm saying? So I hope that made sense. Hi Gold, you said, I think the government just needs to get rid of people with mental disabilities that could have a probability of hurting others. Oh, I mean, honestly, I just feel that, the world just needs healing. Honestly, I just think that there are a lot of people out there hurting. There are a lot of people out there suffering, and it's a sad thing. Like, honestly, I mean, I'm just glad that I've became close to God. I have my relationship with God, and I became close to God over the years, because I feel like that saved me, honestly, because if it wasn't for God, and not to sound cliche or anything like that, but I mean, it's true. Like, I really feel that because of my relationship with God, like I have peace in my life. I have like joy, like I smile, like I have, like when I get up I'm like happy with myself, and I've been through so much. As I said, like I talk about this in my new book, and make sure that you guys do get a copy of it. And also I just want to put it in the chat too for those that come in the room if you are want to learn more. But no, I've been through a lot, you guys. I really have. And, I, over the years, I have talked about, the pain that I've dealt with. And it wasn't easy. But what helped it was, oh, thank y'all for the like. And hey, Delicate, how are you? But what helped me get through my pain, like I said, it was more other stuff. But God was the biggest thing. God was the one that never left me. He never forsake me. And he never like judged me, or he never said like it was like an unconditional love with God. And that was something that I never had with my own parents. Now I would say maybe one friend, I would say that we had unconditional relationship. Like she was one of the friends like in my whole life. Now I'm 34 now, but thus far I could say that she's a real friend, and it's hard to say that. You like there's not many people that you can say like, hey, this is my friend, this person will have my back. But I found that, God has my back. You get what I'm saying? And I wasn't like that before. But after dealing with all the pain and suffering in my life, I'm like, wow, like God was there for me when no one else was there. You see what I'm saying? But the beautiful thing about God is that, because we can't see God, we can't feel God and stuff like that, but because he lives within us. But God will bring the right people in your life. Like if you say, hey, God, like I want to have some human people around me, some people that are like-minded, same vibration, same energy as myself, and like-minded, and have similar values, have similar beliefs as myself, a similar mindset. God will bring those people into your life when the time is right. You get what I'm saying? But sometimes you may have to be by yourself. You may have to be isolated and deal with the pain and deal with the suffering and deal with the agony that you could be feeling at this time. And I know sometimes it's uncomfortable to feel pain. Nobody, think about it, you guys, who wants to feel pain? Nobody wants to be like, yo, like I'm suffering, I'm hurting, like I don't want to hurt nobody else. I just want to heal. You see what I'm saying? And that's how I was. I was just like, I'm just not feeling good. You get what I'm saying? I had to be honest and admit that to myself. I'm a lot better now, thank God. But in the past, maybe like 2016, I definitely after I, finished dealing with the individuals, like, the male narc, after I went no contact with my aunt, and after I went no contact with the borderline. Absolutely. I was suffering, you guys. Like I really was. And like if you go back on my YouTube channel and you watch some of the videos where I first started talking about narcissism, I was still in a lot of pain, you guys. I got to be honest. I was. But I would say 2017, I was finally everything started to click. And in my relationship with God, it started to build. And like now it's stronger than ever. Like, I mean, I cannot have a day without talking to God. Like that's how my relationship is with God, And I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Christian. So I'm not saying like, oh, you got to be religious. No, I'm not a religious person. I'm spiritual. I actually don't even go to church. I don't go to church. I haven't been to church in years, you guys. But I do believe in God. I trust God, and he's my provider, And so, like I said, I do talk about that in my book. So definitely make sure that you get that to learn more. But hi, Delicate, greetings. But yeah, so no, that's interesting though. Like the goal said, I think the government just needs to get rid of people with mental disabilities. And the thing about it, people that have mental disabilities, I feel that it does come from, growing up, right? It comes from their childhood. It may come from, maybe something that happened within the church, or something that may have happened at school, or maybe something that happened at work. You get what I'm saying? And so a lot of people are getting traumatized in these environments. And the unfortunate part, there's not enough like resources and tools for individuals, I guess, to feel comfortable enough to like maybe want to talk about it. But now there's a whole lot of videos now on YouTube. There's many books, there's many things that individuals can do. So it's all about, at this point, you just have to put in the work, and you have to do what it takes in order for you to become happy, whole, and complete. But remember, that's not going to come from anybody else outside of you. That's one of the things that I had to realize, that my happiness does not come from individuals. My happiness does not come from a job. My happiness does not come from the government. My happiness doesn't come from, any, material stuff. It does not come from that. It comes from within, and it comes from God. So that's what I had to come to that conclusion. And once I came to that conclusion, I was like, oh, so it's all on the inside. It's not about on the outside. You see what I'm saying? So I hope that that made sense, you guys. And Delicate, what's up? And Gold, I don't know if you're still in the room, but what's going on with you? But I like what you said that. And if you guys have any other questions, we'll do another live like this where we'll do like a Q&A, and you guys can ask me questions, because just in case if somebody's watching this and they may have a similar question, that way it can help everybody. You get me? So yeah. Delicate, you said it used to be several psych words here in the city that were closed down. The patients were released in population and has children. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I just feel like there's just many people, they just need to not feel ashamed or afraid to ask for help or ask for support. And I get it, because that was me many years ago. I used to be the type of person where I was like, oh, I don't need to get no help. Like, oh, I can do this by myself. Or, oh, like I need to get help to get over a relationship, or someone broke my heart and I need to get fixed, or like, why do I need to get fixed and the other person hurt me? You get what I'm saying? So that was my mentality. I don't know if that's how you guys felt, but that was me. I got to be honest, you guys, many years ago. But once I made the decision, I was like, well, it's not about the narcissist anymore. It's not about my aunt anymore. It's about me and how I can, become better. Not saying better than anybody else, but just better for myself. So that way I can make the world a better place, or just the community a better place. You get what I'm saying? Because there's a lot, and I know I said this again, there's a lot of people that are hurting. Let's be honest. I mean, and Delicate, I don't know if it's you or Gold. Are you guys hurting? Like, I would love to know. And even if you are, it's fine to admit it. It's fine, because it's okay not to be happy sometimes. It's okay not to be smiling all the time. It's okay to not be bubbly and, sunshines and rainbows. That's not how life is. Like, life is up and life is down. Life is up, life is in the middle. Life is turns and twists and, all types of stuff. Life is a school. That's what I learned. Life is a school. And so we're all learning. We're all learning, you guys, and no one's perfect. You get what I'm saying? So just always remember that, and you don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to have, your life, quote unquote, together. Like, it's gonna mess up, and God is actually, this is the other thing I learned too, you guys, is like God will actually make your life kind of come crashing down. He'll make you hit rock bottom just so you can go to him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I think, like, God is pretty funny. Like, God is a funny God. Like, he'll do stuff and like you be thinking like, God, I know you was doing that. Like, because God wants to be close to us. And I hope I'm not sounding like a preacher, because I'm not. I'm just a person that had a life experience that dealt with individuals who had narcissism, and I'm just a person sharing it with you all. That's it. Nothing more and nothing less. So just keep that in mind. Delicate, you said, yes, I have to admit to everything I do and experience. I study it to find solutions and healing. Absolutely. As you should. As you should. Because again, as I said, I've had people email me. They're like, Joy, like, I really didn't want to reach out to you, or, I felt ashamed to say something. I felt embarrassed to admit that I needed help. And I'm like, it's nothing wrong with it. Trust me. Because again, I can admit also, just like Delicate, but my perspective was of everything that happened to me, when I used to live with my aunt, and even dealing with the male narc at that time. I was afraid to like come on YouTube and share my experience, because I was like, I don't know what people are going to think. I don't know what they're going to say. But as I mentioned before, it was like I didn't care anymore, because I was so much in pain. I was hurting at the time, and I didn't know what I could do to relieve the aches and the pains that I was dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And I found that helped me actually, but also, like I said, I did talk to someone for about a year, but the thing about with her, she didn't understand narcissism. She didn't understand it. I think she was like a counselor in training, and she was a little bit younger than me too. So she had went through a heartbreak and she understood, but she didn't understand, like, a heartbreak and a narcissistic heartbreak is different. It's not the same. And I'm pretty sure, former victims and survivors can understand that, right? Like, because the thing is like with a regular heartbreak, I'm pretty sure that person may have a normal personality, and it could be like, okay, you know what? Let's let bygones be bygones. Maybe we're not meant for each other, and that's fine. I'm happy for you. I wish you well. I wish you the best, but we're just not meant to be. But with a narcissist individual, a person that has NPD, it's not about that. It's about, hurting you. It's about, making you feel regret. It's about making you feel remorse. It's about, them getting revenge on you and them still trying to keep tabs on you and stalk you, harass you. It's different, right? It's a completely different. And the way that, like I said, I'm not telling anybody what to do, but the way that you go about the healing process is different. You get what I'm saying? So you have to do a little bit more to help you to be able to heal, cope, and recover, and to rethink things and to empower yourself, right? So anyway, you guys, I hope that made sense. Like I said, I didn't want to drag this on for too long, but if you are a parent, if you're wondering, you're like, should I share this with my children? Absolutely. Share the topic of narcissism and narcissistic abuse to your children. And they may even come and ask you questions. And if you don't know, make sure that you do your research so that way you can give your children the best information that's going to be able to help them and their future. Okay. So that's been a video, you guys. I hope that this resonated and made sense. And also just wanted to let you know, I'm super excited to share with you that my new book is available for purchase on Amazon called Your Pain Will Make You Successful. All right. And pretty much it's a guide to living your best life after dealing with mental, emotional, and psychological pain. And as I mentioned before, you guys, I wrote it because I am the person that has dealt with this, just like anybody else has dealt with pain. But I just felt that, I just share my story and maybe it can help someone that's dealing with pain, all of those aspects of their pain. It can help them to, cope, rethink, and to empower themselves and to motivate themselves to never let, pain take over them, like get the best of them, and understand, like, if somebody hurts you or betrays you or takes advantage of you, that does not have to define you. That doesn't have to be the end of your life. Like, that could just be the beginning, but you have to learn how to be able to transmute that negative energy into something positive. You get what I'm saying? And not everybody knows how to do that. So, but also, to one of the keys to your healing after you deal with mental, emotional, and psychological pain is that you have to become close to God. And not everybody understands how to get close to God. Not everybody understands maybe the benefits of being close to God. You know what I'm saying? So I do talk about that in my book and more. So if you want to learn more, make sure that you do visit the link that I put in the chat. But also, you can send me an email and you can inquire about my book as well. And then I do actually have another link. And then also, you guys, if you would like further support, so if you would like to inquire about my 90-day coaching program, or if you would like to get like a support session with me, if you need a listening ear, you need to talk, or maybe you need to vent, or you just need someone to listen to you, I'm all ears. I would love to support you in any way that I can, because trust me, I know what it feels like not to have anybody to call on. The only person that I can call on is God. That's the point where I was at, where I was in so much pain, where I could only call on God and God answered me. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, definitely reach out to me, and all that good stuff. Oh, and then also I can send you, because you can schedule an appointment too. So let's say if you wanted to schedule an appointment for today, and let's say you schedule it for Friday or Saturday or something like that, you definitely do have that option also. All right, you guys. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, any other topics that you guys want to learn about, please let me know. So that way we can all help each other and help each other heal, and just empower each other, because we all deserve it, right? We've been through a lot, and like I said, where I'm at in my life, you guys, is like no more pain. No more pain, you guys. No more pain for me. Now I'm not saying that you're not gonna never ever experience pain again, but you have to be at a point where you're tired of being tired, if that makes sense. Like, you're tired of suffering, you're tired of being in pain, you're tired of the agony, you're tired of going through the motions and the drama. You know what I'm saying? You have to get to that point. Not everybody has made that decision yet. It may take some time, but I've made that decision. And if you've made that decision, definitely reach out to me, so that way I can support you the best way that I can. So anyway, I love you guys, and I'll see you all in the next video. Delicate, you said, why does the narc contact, even if they're, yeah, no, we can definitely do that. I probably did mention that, but if not, we'll definitely make another video. And again, Delicate, any other topics, let me know. And Delicate, make sure that you do get your copy of my book as well. You can send me an email or DM, and make sure that you guys do follow me on IG. I'm gonna go live there. We'll do a quick live. We'll just do one of the topics that was mentioned. So, but yeah, make sure you get your copy of my book. I put my heart and my soul in it, and I'm pretty sure not only will it help you, but I'm sure it can help, your children. It may be able to help some family members, some friends, some coworkers, some and that sort of thing. So, anyway, yes, yes, yes. Sounds good. But anyway, I love you guys. Until the next time. Bye.